Hey guys, it's Jessica. Today we're going to be talking through the 10 new releases that I am most excited to read in August. This is not an exhaustive list of every single book coming out in August. This is a list of all the books that I am personally thinking I might like to read at some point, and I did narrow it down to 10. But that was hard because there are some fantastic books coming out this month. They are entirely sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, but I have grouped them into some more categories than that. So let's get started with the first category, which is magical and witchy. So these are going to be books that have a little bit of a more mystical vibe to them. And I have 3 books in this category, starting with The Magician of Tiger Castle by Louis Sachar. This is being published on August 5th. It is 320 pages being published by Ace. Louis Sachar is the author of the middle grade novel Holes, which I have not read, but I do want to read. I believe that it won the Newbery Award, and I try to read all the Newbery winners, but I haven't read it yet. And I believe that this is his very first adult novel, and it is a fantasy, and I am so excited. Let me read you a little bit of the synopsis. Long ago and far away, and somewhere south of France, lies the kingdom of Esquivita. There, Princess Tulia is nearly as much peril as her struggling kingdom. Esquivita desperately needs to forge an alliance, and to that end, Tulia's father has arranged a marriage between her and an odious prince. However, 1 month before the wedding of the century, Tulia falls in love with a lowly apprentice scribe. The king turns to Anatole, his much maligned magician. He orders him to brew a potion that will ensure Tulia agrees to the wedding. He's faced with an impossible choice, with one chance to save the marriage, the kingdom, and most of all, his reputation. Will he betray the princess or risk ruin? And I would also like to say that this is one of the many books that I'm going to talk about in this video that has an absolutely A+ cover. I just love this cover, and it sounds like it's going to be whimsical and heartwarming and magical, yes, and I am so excited. The next book I have in this category is The Late Night Witches by Annalee Wallace. It's 400 pages, being published by Ace on August 19th. Annalee Wallace wrote the, I can't remember the name of the series, but the first book in the series is In the Company of Witches, which is kind of like a witch B&B cozy mystery that is one of the best cozy mysteries I have ever read. It made me cry. It was so good, and I highly recommend it. This book is a new series, and I am really excited about it. Let me tell you a little bit what it's about. An enchantingly warm and funny novel about family, love lost and found, discovering who you are, and how difficult it is to slay a vampire. Cassie Beckett's life is anything but magical. With a wild younger sister, 3 unruly kids, and an absent husband, she's really not looking forward to the witching month of October. At least, the gorgeous, foggy Prince Edward Island is always quiet. At least, that is, until the vampires arrive. As the creatures sink their teeth into Cassie's tenuous grip on normalcy, she's forced to come face to face with long disregarded family secrets. The legacy gives her power, but also a lofty responsibility. Rid the island of vampires or let them win. Both options suck, in more ways than one. Armed with her family, newfound friends, and a baby in a spectacularly garlic onesie, she must learn what it is to be a witch and how to fight for what she loves before time runs out. I mean, it sounds adorable. It sounds really cute. It sounds perfect for the fall season, and I would kind of consider August to be the gateway to spooky read season. I am most definitely going to be reading this book because I have been waiting for a new book from this author. As I said, she's kind of a favorite of mine. If you've never read In the Company of Witches, it's available now. Go read it. It has a terrible cover. It only comes in mass market paperback, and I know not everybody reads those anymore, but it's such a moving and sweet and warm and just cozy story. I just love it so much, and I cannot wait for her new book. And the last witchy book that I have in this category is Hemlock Silver by T. Kingfisher. It's coming out on August 19th, and it's 368 pages, being published by Tor. So you all know that T. Kingfisher is one of my absolute favorite writers of all time. I absolutely love her. And I read everything that she writes, and I do have an arc of this, so I am definitely going to be reading it, but I am so excited by the description. It is a dark reimagining of Snow White, which I don't feel like is something we've seen a ton of. I've seen a lot of fairy tale retellings, but not so much Snow White, and I'm really excited to see what T. Kingfisher is going to do with that. I'll read you the description. It says, healer Anya regularly drinks poison, not to die, but to save, seeking cures for those everyone else has given up on. But a summons from the king interrupts her quiet, herb-obsessed life. His daughter Snow is dying, and he hopes that Anya's unorthodox methods can save her. Aided by a taciturn guard, a narcissistic cat, and a passion for the scientific method, Anya rushes to treat Snow, but nothing seems to work. That is, until she finds a secret world hidden inside a magic mirror. This dark realm may hold the key to what is making Snow sick, or it might be the thing that kills them all. Ah, that's a great description. I really love that description. Also, did you all see there was a cat? You know I will read anything with a cat in it, and you know I will give an extra star for the cat. So yes, I am very excited for this, and I cannot wait to read it. So if you come back at the end of the month, you will get to see all of my thoughts on this one because it's definitely on my TBR. Okay, my next category is tech, AI, and near future weirdness. So these are all things that have to do with technology or AI or some other kind of futuristic something. So these are all science fiction books. So we're going to start out with Dot/Magic by Liz Shipton, which is coming out August 19th, being published by Angry Robot, and it is 400 pages long. So this has a great kind of little blurb line, and it says, what if you wrote a magic computer program? What if that magic computer program started summoning monsters? Okay, I have to take a moment here and say that I don't know who here is as big of a fan as Buffy the Vampire Slayer as I am, but there was an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where a demon gets trapped in the internet. It's pretty awful. It's a pretty terrible, campy episode, but that is what I thought of when I read this description, and I got really excited. So let's read on. When 20-something coder Seven Jones goes back to school at a community college in San Diego, the last thing she wants is to join some stupid club. And the last thing she expects is to walk into an underground magic club, like actual wizards. She reluctantly joins the motley crew of magical weirdos and discovers her own powers. But she struggles to control it until she figures out how to channel her magic through an artificially intelligent computer program. Unfortunately, there is literally nothing her new friends hate more than AI. And when a student mysteriously turns up dead, blame falls on Seven. Is her creepy artificial magic summoning terrifying creatures to hunt students? Or is she being framed? With only cute ex-Navy SEAL Logan on her side, she fights monsters while struggling to convince everyone that her AI has nothing to do with them. That sounds campy. So maybe it is kind of like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode. I don't know. I think it looks cute. And again, I think this is a story that sounds like it's going to be perfect for fall. As I am recording this, it is late July and it is 90 degrees outside Fahrenheit, and I am ready for fall. I am over summer weather already. So all of these books are really getting me in the mood. Also in this category, we have Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz. It's coming out on August 5th, 124 pages, and it is being published by Tor.com. Y'all know I love a Tor.com novella. This one is a funny one, and it's about robots who cook. I don't know, it looks really cute, and also fantastic cover. Look at the cover. I love the cover so much. So I'm going to read you a little bit of the description here. It says, you don't have to eat food to know the way to a city's heart is through its stomach. So when a group of deactivated robots come back online in an abandoned ghost kitchen, they decide to make their own way doing what they know. Making food, the tastiest hand-pulled noodles around for the humans of San Francisco who are recovering from a devastating war. But when their robot business starts causing a stir, a targeted wave of one-star reviews threatens to boil over into a crisis. To keep their doors open, they'll have to call in their customers, their community, and each other, and find a way to survive and thrive in a world that wasn't built for them. Yeah. So I love robots, and I love a heartwarming robot story, and this sounds like it's going to be a super heartwarming robot story, and I have seen some really positive early reviews on this. This one is definitely, I think, on my August TBR, and I'm so excited. And then the last one I have in this category, all these books are about AI, and this one is Artificial Wisdom by Thomas Weaver. And it's coming out on August 12th. It's about 400 pages. It's being published by Del Rey, but this is actually its traditional publishing date. It was previously independently published by the author. So this one is already out there, but I'm putting it on here because it's getting a bigger release this month. And in one of my recent videos, I talked about how much I loved Where the Axe is Buried by Ray Naylor, which I really love and you all should check out. And somebody commented and said that they thought I would really like this book. So now I am even more excited to read it than I already was. All right, so it's 2050, a decade after a heat wave that killed 400 million across the Persian Gulf, including journalist Marcus Tully's wife. Now he must uncover the truth. Was the disaster natural, or is the weather now a weapon of genocide? A whistleblower pulls him into a murder investigation at the center of an election battle for a global dictator with a mandate to prevent a climate apocalypse. A former US president campaigns against the first AI politician for the position, but someone is trying to sway the outcome. He must convince the world to face the truth and make hard choices about the future of the species. But will humanity ultimately choose salvation over freedom, whatever the cost? So we have a sci-fi mystery. I love a sci-fi mystery. And we have an AI running for president of the United States, which doesn't sound as far-fetched as I feel like it should when I hear those words coming out of my mouth, but here we are. So I'm excited to read this one, and I think it looks fantastic. And if you've already read this one, or if you're the person who recommended it to me, leave a comment, let me know. Now we are on to our third theme, which is haunting, possession, and memory. So these are all kind of more dark, ghostly possession, memory stories, kind of loosely tied together. It's a mix of horror and fantasy and sci-fi. And we're going to start with a book called These Memories Do Not Belong to Us. It's by Yiming Ma. And it's 224 pages, being published by Mariner Books and coming out on August 12th. It says it is a hauntingly beautiful and profoundly prescient debut set in a future where China is the sole global superpower and citizens can record and transfer memories between minds. When I was a boy, my mother used to tell me stories of a world before memories could be shared between strangers. Decades from now, the world is run by an authoritarian state called Qin. In Qin, every citizen is fitted with a mind bank, an intracranial device capable of not only recording, but transferring memories between minds. The technology gives birth to a new economy, referred to as memory capitalism, where anyone with means can relive the life experiences of others. It also unleashes opportunities for manipulation. Memories can be edited, marketed, and even corrupted for personal gain. So I believe that this is actually a series of 3, I think that's the number, short stories within this 224-page short little novel that are telling stories about memory and the meaning of memory and what it means if memory can be manipulated and shared. And I think it sounds very literary, and I think it sounds exactly like something that I would like. So I am really excited for this. I believe it's a debut novel, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Then we have another of my most anticipated books this year, and that is The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Canas. This is coming out on August 19th. It's 384 pages, and it's being published by Berkeley. Isabel Canas wrote, well, she has several books, but I am thinking specifically of The Hacienda. I absolutely love The Hacienda, which is a Mexican retelling of Rebecca, which is also one of my favorite books. She has another book called The Vampires of El Norte, which I have not read yet, but I do have on my shelves back here to get to at some point. And this is her newest one, and I am so excited. Let me tell you about it. When a demonic presence awakens deep in a Mexican silver mine, the young woman it seizes must turn to the one man she shouldn't trust. In 1765, plague sweeps through Zacatecas. Alba flees with her wealthy merchant parents and fiancé Carlos to the family's isolated mine for refuge. But safety proves fleeting as other dangers soon bare their teeth. Alba begins suffering from strange hallucinations, sleepwalking, and violent convulsions. She senses something cold lurking beneath her skin, something angry, something wrong. Elias, haunted by a troubled past, came to the New World to make his fortune and escape his family's legacy of greed. Alba, his cousin's betrothed, is none of his business, which is, of course, why he can't help but notice her every time she enters a room, or the growing tension between them, and why he notices her deteriorate when the demon's thirst for blood grows stronger. Her books tend to be very gothic and dark and atmospheric, and this sounds like it's going to have something that may or may not actually be a romance going on here, but I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. And it is one of my anticipated books of the year, and I'm so excited to read it. The last book I have in this category is House of Dusk by Deva Fagan. It's coming out August 26th, and it's 448 pages, being published by Daw. And this one has a very, very specific thing that makes me want to read it, but I will read you the description and see if you know what it is. A romantic fantasy featuring a fire-wielding nun grappling with her dark past and a young spy caught between her mission and a growing attraction to an enemy princess. And then it says, for fans of Tasha Suri, Samantha Shannon, and Shannon Chakraborty. So, fire-wielding nun, yes. I will read anything with a nun in it. I don't know why. I just have a thing for books about nuns. And fire-wielding nuns, yes. It says, 10 years ago, Sephra left behind her life as a war hero and took holy vows to seek redemption for her crimes, wielding the flames of the phoenix to purify the dead. But as corpses rise, a long-dead god stirs, and shadowy serpents creep from the underworld, she has no choice but to draw on the very past she's been trying so hard to forget. Orphaned by the same war Sephra helped win, Yenneris has trained half her life to be the perfect spy, a blade slipped deep into the palace of her enemies. Undercover as bodyguard to a princess whose tears unleash prophecy, she is searching for the stolen bones of a saint. Her growing attraction to the princess, however, is proving dangerous, and Yenneris struggles to balance her feelings with her duty to her people. So this is a romantasy, but it does, I will say, sound like a romantasy that I feel like I would enjoy. And I'm always kind of on a quest to meet the romantasy that I will like. And sometimes I find some that I do kind of like, but they're usually more on the fantasy romance side of things. And this one does sound a little bit more, it says a romantic epic fantasy. So I think that sounds like something I would like. It also has a fantastic cover. That cover makes me want to read it. It's very striking. And finally, one last category, which is mythic and liminal. And I only have one book in this category, and it is, to no one's surprise, Katabasis by RF Kuang, being published by Berkeley, 400 pages on August 26th. Two graduate students must set aside the rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. Alice Law has only ever had one goal, to become one of the brightest minds in the field of magic. She has sacrificed everything to make that a reality, her pride, her health, her love life, and most definitely her sanity. All to work with Professor Jacob Grimes at Cambridge, the greatest magician in the world. That is, until he dies in a magical accident that could possibly be her fault. Grimes is now in hell, and she's going in after him, because his recommendation could now hold her very future in his incorporeal hands, and even death is not going to stop the pursuit of her dreams, nor will the fact that her rival, Peter Murdoch, has come to the same conclusion. All right, so I am so conflicted about this book. The early reviews that I have seen of it have been, I would say, mixed. And I have one RF Kuang book that I can recognize the flaws of, but I also really, really love, and that's Babel. And that's primarily because I think the magic system in Babel is so unique and interesting. But I've also read The Poppy War and Yellowface, and neither one of those really did it for me. So I'm not totally sure if she is an author for me, but I am most definitely going to be trying this book. I should be getting it from the library when it comes out. I was like the second person on the list, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a copy, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to let you know what I think. The idea of it, the academia, that appeals to me as somebody that spent a long time in academia and then worked in academia, and I'm just very familiar with that world. So in that sense, I think that's also partially why I liked Babel so much, was because I just love books that are set in academia. And I am pretty excited for that one as well. And with that, that is the end of my August new release preview. These are all books that I would definitely pick up. Some of them I will certainly be getting to in the month of August, and others probably in the coming months. So if you are interested or curious about what I thought about any of them, please hit that subscribe button. Or if you're interested in getting these previews every month, because I do them every month, go ahead and hit that button and sign up for notifications so that you will know when I'm telling you all about the new books you should read next month. Please leave me a comment and let me know which one of these books you are most excited to read, or if I left one off that you're excited to read, I would love to hear about that too. And if you're feeling quiet, go ahead and leave me the tombstone emoji in honor of Katabasis and their journey into the underworld. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.